And I'm Zanzi, welcome to it as Hollywoodbets once again brings you GameON, and there's so much to talk about in the beautifully South African game, what's happening out in Germany, as well as, of course, the game out in England. I am Caesar Mapena. We'll be joined by experts and legends in the way of James Kosana later on, but right now, Shane McGregor to discuss all that's happening in England, and we're in the business end of the season out in England. Now, the second half of the season, and my oh my, what results we had come Tuesday. Of course, there was the FA Cup last week, so games return midweek this week. For one, Nottingham Forest. Big talking point this season, and everybody wondered whether there'd be the business with a good test against them, and there's no bigger test than Liverpool right now. They go and play to a 1-1 scoreline.
Yeah, great result for them, you know. And, we've been watching them the whole season. I've been watching them particularly, and they're playing well. You know, he's got the team motivated, the coach I'm talking about, and he's got them playing well. No big names, no big stars, just got them playing to their ability and to their strengths. Got the result. Liverpool were lucky. I watched the game. They were very lucky to come away with a point.
Well, on Tuesday, we saw, 3 draws and 1 win. Chelsea, another side that's thereabouts in the top of the league. 2-2, their scoreline against Bournemouth, and what turned out to be a tough home game for them. Yeah,
you know, we always talk about youngsters and playing youngsters, and it catches up with you, and we all know about Chelsea. And, you know, they've gone through their bad patch. Bournemouth are a difficult team to beat. Don't get me wrong. So, for me, Chelsea just haven't got that little bit of extra. They need to bring in 1 or 2 more experienced players. But at the moment, you know, they're up there.
City have looked a side that's turning things around, turning the ship around and beginning to maybe find the necessary results, goals. They did find a couple of goals, but you've mentioned it time and again, defensively they're a problem. They scored 2 against Brentford, but the problem is they concede 2 as well.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's always the problem. If you're scoring 2 and you're conceding 2, it's not great, you know. But at the moment, defensively, they're all over the place. Pep, I'm not too sure what he's doing. I'm not too sure if he's trying to sort it out. Kyle Walker's now come out and said he wants to leave. So that's another interesting thing. But at the end of the day, you know, if you can't defend and you can't stop people scoring, you're not going to win games.
Then the results continued, of course, on Wednesday. Newcastle, 3-0 win over Wolves. Newcastle quietly gotten on with business this season, and here we are in the business end of the season, of the business second half of the season, and they are looking aside that could really shake things up.
Got all their players back from injury, looking good. They're gonna take a few teams. They're gonna take a few sculptors the rest of the season. If they can stay fit and keep those players going, they're going to be right up there at the end of the year.
And let's not forget the big London derby. You and I discussed this last week. We certainly were looking forward to it. It promised entertainment. It promised goals. We got goals, 3 of them in total. Arsenal with an important win over Tottenham.
Big win for them. It was a must win. You know, they've been struggling along and got beaten by United in the FA Cup on the weekend, but bounced back and got a good result. My worry here again is the defensive side of things. You know, they're conceding goals. If you looked at Tottenham, they've got major injury worries. If it was any other team that had a more firing attack, Arsenal would have been in big trouble. But good result for them. Keep their place in that top half and pushing for the title. But long way to go. Yeah,
still a long way to go. And of course, there's games to look forward to today. There's one that kicks off. Shortly. Newcastle can't be ignored, of course, from this point on going forward. They're at home to Bournemouth.
Difficult game, you know. Bournemouth have been playing well, but I can't see Newcastle not getting a result here. They're firing on all cylinders, getting the goals. I'm going to go for Newcastle win.
And the big question, can Brentford slow down Liverpool?
Yes, they can, especially at Brentford. You know, this is going to be a difficult game. I'll be happy as a Liverpool supporter if we come away with something out of this game. Brentford are very difficult to break down at home. They've been hitting their straps of late, so a difficult game for Liverpool. So.
Arguably my game of the day, Arsenal at home to Aston Villa, who aren't quite hitting the heights of last season, but still a very good team in what's a very competitive league this season.
Been very competitive, Aston Villa as well. You know, they seem to have lost their sparkle over the last few weeks. As we always say, you know, they're in Europe, and that's a big worry if you don't have a big squad. Arsenal have to keep the pressure up. I think a draw's on the card.
I wouldn't put it past Aston Villa get a result out of that. Let's look at what's happening tomorrow. I have to talk about Manchester United. There's been a coaching change, and many would hope with a new coach comes a good batch of results that sees them maybe move upwards. They're moving downwards, 15th last we checked.
Well, he's been there a while now.
And then,
He's been there a while.
Brighton
He's
as
not
well.
a new coach, so he's been there a while. But they be buoyant from the result against Arsenal. We're down to 10 players. They got the result. They fought hard. A difficult game again. You never know which Man United team's going to push in, come in, arrive at this game. So I think because of their victory over Arsenal, we'll push them in the right way.
Against Brighton,
I know Brighton's a
Yeah.
difficult, it's a difficult game to play, but I think United will have too much for Brighton.
City away to Ipswich Town.
City will
Should be
win.
points for City, yeah.
City will win. Ipswich have been struggling. Though they're fighting, they're playing decent football, but City on a roll again. They'll get the result there.
With Chelsea and the fact that they are thereabouts in the top four battle, also in the chasing pack at the top of the league table, they're at home to a Wolves side that's really unpredictable this season.
Wolves are struggling.
Yeah.
They in that fight for relegation against the Chelsea team that we don't know exactly what's going to happen. This is a very, very difficult game to call. I would be leaning towards Chelsea, but I wouldn't put a draw out of the picture here either.
And the reason for this would be the youngsters.
The youngsters, exactly. And it's difficult, when you got youngsters. And I found in my coaching career that you got to groom them. But when you got a whole bunch of youngsters, it's a different story, So it's a bit difficult. But at the moment, they're doing fairly well. A difficult one to call, but I think Chelsea should edge this one.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's probably the most interesting campaign we've had in England in a long time, with teams such as Newcastle in the running, teams such as Nottingham Forest making a good run for it, Aston Villa having a good season as well, Chelsea back thereabouts, and there's plenty to talk about and plenty to look forward to when I sit next to Shane next week and we break down the game out in England. So we take a short break, come back, and we look at what's happening locally with J.S. Kosana.
Even my Gogo can kick better than that.
Wanna bet?
You are on.
Breaking news. Gogo takes a prize challenge to a penalty shootout.
Aziz again.
Let's go.
Brian looks confident here. What? He's completely missed it. Here comes Gogo. And what a kick! She's done it! She's done the impossible! Hollywoodbets, Azisheke, let's play.
Welcome back to GameON. Now time to shift focus to what's happening locally in my oh my. There's so much to talk about. Keep in mind, although we are in 2025 of the 2024-25 season, the current campaign is yet to reach the midway point. And, well, looking at last week's results, the biggest talking point so far, Sunday. What happened out in KZN? We joined, of course, by J.S. Kosana. Kaizer Chiefs, Golden Arrows. Nabi gets sent off. Golden Arrows walk away with a 1-0 win over Kaizer Chiefs. And inconsistency remains a big problem at Chiefs.
Thanks, Mr. Mabena. Hey, it's something which I've been talking about, inconsistency in the Chiefs team. So I don't know what's going to happen more, because even the coach now got red carded because of his argument with the match officials. But I think the energy that he needs to put is to the players, to guide them what is it that exactly they need to do in the field of play, not to look at the match officials. Because anything, match officiating, we always complain about it if maybe it doesn't favor you, especially if you're losing. So that's what happened to him. But I don't really look at him in that manner to say, why do you have to start fighting match officials instead of fighting your own players so that they get the right method of winning games? So I think for them to lose to Golden Arrows, it was just like something in a C-sharp.
What did they create chances? Although 13 shots, only one on target. And also, let's talk about it. It's Chiefs and their home games. Is it a problem with having one home stadium? But firstly,
I really don't know what to say, because when you look at the Chiefs, it's a team, my attacker, something else, but they've got all these guys that are not doing anything. I mean, if one delay, the one that scored 2 goals last week, I mean, nothing comes up. Where are the other guys with Sibaniki Chiefs, what they want? Because it's a club where they sign a lot of players, high salaries, but really inside the field, it's not happening. So for them to have 13 attempts and just one shot at goal, really, I mean, this is what you look at the other clubs in terms of being clubs that cannot afford quality players. So Chiefs, they're bringing the so-called quality players. So why banalinking manje?
Manje lengoma leyo niyaqala ngoba umuntu uyikhulumani. Lethi everywhere in my head, that's my home. Chiefs nje.
But when are they going to stop that? Is it all about maybe making money because they know wherever they go there is like support? One time there was a time where they were playing one team from Limpopo, they went to play at Peter Mokaba Stadium, they lost the game against the team from Limpopo, their home game. Now they went to Durban, Moses Mabhida, to play Golden Arrows. I mean, that's territory Golden Arrows, and it's their home game. So I really don't know, maybe there is something that you don't know inside the Chiefs, like Ilape village. So for me, I ask what's happening. Look at a team like Orlando Pirates. All their games, Champions League, league games, cup games, if it's their home game, their fortresses, so I don't know with Chiefs. Maybe it's all about marketing rather than getting points.
Now, it's also January, so we'll be keeping a close eye on Kaizer Chiefs to see if they'll be making any signings to beef up the squad, which is something the coach spoke a lot about in the first half of the season, or maybe let me say back in 2024. Let's keep things moving along. And interesting for Owen Tigama, they were entertaining Amazulu walking away 1-0 winners. It was an interesting game, of course, to go look into, especially for Makesi, looking to bounce back in the second half in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, when he started taking over Owen, I mean, they played a draw. I mean, that was something at least a positive from him. But I don't know what happened because he had more time now to prepare for Amazulu. But they lost 1-0 at home. Well, another headache again that they need to go through because obviously you want something like a change. Because Makesi brought a new coach in Owen Tigama. Maybe an adoption of his style from the players is something which they still have to work on.
Manje kuneclub ngathi yasokolisa lapha kwi-Premiership isikhukhune. They're doing so well. Bashaya iSuperSport 3-0 with the heading scored in that game. They play against Kaizer Chiefs come Sunday in a big game for Kaizer Chiefs, home game for Kaizer Chiefs, but again in KZN. But isikhukhune a side you can't take lightly.
Hey, man, they've got Boyeli, I mean, scoring a hat-trick. I mean, that's the only second hat-trick Bule PSL too, because the first one was like Umabasa when they beat Marumo Galant 8-1. So this was the second one, Les Koro Boyeli. And the third one came from a penalty spot. But yeah, give credit to whatever that they are doing, Gus Kukune. I mean, sitting third on the log now, it's something important. I mean, last season, they had to venture into CAF competition. Unfortunately, they bow out early. But I mean, these are good signs now that they really mean business to be there in the top 8.
Well, namhlanje Chippa United take on Marumo Gallants. Let's not forget, Marumo Gallants, of course, had the beating of Cape Town City with the 1-0 scoreline. City, after having beaten Chiefs and Pirates, one after the other, they struggled against Gallants, and Gallants will look to keep the good times going.
Yeah. It's the way Tinomla Mzansi sibheka khona. You always go to big clubs. You want to give it your all. You look at the Cape Town City with all the struggles, losing coach, Eric Tinkler, come in, Mushener Tugal. They beat Chiefs, they beat Pirates. Now you think they're on a roll because at least there were changes. Nkosiyami. Imarumo Gallants, Nkosiyami. I mean, you wouldn't expect that, but well, it's football. That's how things are. I mean, well done to Marumo Gallants for winning at home.
Certainly, yes, football. I'll tell you what, for Golden Arrows, they will look to make it another win in a row when they face TX Galaxy. That's our look at the local league with Jerry Skosana. On the other side of this, Shane steps back and we look at the Bundesliga. Welcome back to Game On. Time now to, switch focus and move out to a different part of Europe as we focus on Germany, what's happening in the Bundesliga. And the big talking point, of course, as Shane comes back, of course, to join us, is the top of the table and the running out at the top of the table. Leverkusen with a 1-0 win over Mainz, looking to stay up with Bayern Munich, of course, in the race at the top. Yeah,
keeping the pressure up, they have to. It doesn't matter how you get the result. 1-0 is 1-0. Get the result, that's the main main thing, 3 points. Keep the pressure on Bayern, which they are doing at the moment.
Well, Bayern, they had quite a statement against Hoffenheim, 5-0 win.
That's typical Bayern, you know.
Wow.
They're either very bad or they're very good.
Yeah.
Mostly very good, you know. 5-0, yeah, firing on all cylinders, keeping above everyone else and keeping the pressure on.
Well, they certainly are. Let's talk about the fixtures that will be coming up. And for Bayern Munich, they're up against Wolfsburg in what should be a rather interesting encounter during the course of today.
Going to be a very interesting game, but you know, the form Bayern in at the moment, so I can't see them not getting a result against Wolfsburg. They're scoring goals left, right and centre. They've got the players, Kane's there, back fit. So yeah, I can't see them not winning this one.
Bayern Leverkusen, of course, they'll be up against Borussia Mönchengladbach in the last game today. And a must win again in trying to stay up with Bayern and keep the pressure on. Yeah,
they have to keep the pressure on. You know, if they want to have any chance of winning the league, they've got to keep winning the games. The one good thing we all do know is the top three will stay the same this week, no matter what happens. It'll be the same top three, and they have to keep winning. They have to keep the pressure on Bayern Munich. But they should get the job done, yeah, against Mönchengladbach, a team that's up and down. I think Alonso will get them firing again and get a result, yeah.
Well, in the game that kicks off at 4:30 today, we do have Stuttgart up against Freiburg. There should be an interesting game for the neutrals that just want to watch a good game of football, quality.
Yeah, you know, two teams that have to win as well.
Yep.
Interesting game. I think a draw's on the cards on this one. You know, Stuttgart haven't been the greatest this whole season, so I think a draw on the cards for this.
Bochum under a bit of pressure at the bottom. They up against Leipzig in a game where they're at home, but Leipzig will be looking to pick up the 3 points and maybe favourites going into that game.
Yes, will all be favourites, but you know, come off a bad result, and which is not great for them. And I keep on saying this to you. You know, you can't be a team that sells players all the time like Leipzig.
Yeah.
You know, they develop the players, they sell them. It's going to catch up with you sooner or later, and this season has caught up with them. They're normally right there at the top, pushing. Against a team now that are struggling and desperate for points. This could go either way. You know, Bochum need the points. Leipzig, well, we know they want the points, but this could go either way. You know, I wouldn't be able to call this one.
With a team like Leipzig and the excitement they bring to the fold in Bundesliga football, with just their scouting and the ability to bring in star players to the Bundesliga, do you see them maybe being able to pick it up and get it going towards the end of the season?
Well, you know, the transfer window is going to be closed anyway, so they can't bring any other new players in. So what they try to do is develop from the academy and bring players in slowly. If they're going to be doing that, now's the time to do it. But my advice to them is to stop selling players as much as they do. But you know, it works for them. It's like every other club. They got to stay afloat. That's the way to do it. Bring the players in, make a star of them, and then sell them on.
Yep. Now, good game to look forward to tomorrow. Werder Bremen up against Augsburg.
Yeah, Werder Bremen should get the job done against Augsburg. I can't see them not getting the result at home. So yeah, we'll go with Werder.
Now, keep in mind, Hollywoodbets has been busy and giving back to the South African game. They have been busy with the classic games of late, from December, in fact, from last year, coming through right to this new year. Lately, they were out in Midlands at the KwaMahlobo game. So let's find out more about that.
While football is a game loved by so many, the sport itself means so much more. Emotions, drama, excitement, and the unpredictable nature of the beautiful game. That's why people flock to tournaments like the KwaMahlobo Festive Games in Meadowlands, because this game is about more. Powered by Hollywoodbets, this tournament continues to be one of the leading events of its kind in Gauteng.
This is one of the calendar item in our community when it comes to KwaMahlobo Games. Another year, another good year of KwaMahlobo Games. A very, very hectic one and a big one. It's been a very, very long journey since the 26th of December until today, the 12th of January. Some tournaments, when they play what we call a knockout basis. But remember, the purpose of the tournament is to develop and expose talent. We are a very unique tournament whereby we take 40 teams to the tournament, and then we divide all those teams into groups. Now we had teams that went to 8 groups of 5, whereby they started playing the point systems. Now whereby each group produced winners, position 1, position 2, they then qualify for the knockout.
The KwaMahlobo Festive Games welcomed a host of top-class teams and players who have played in the professional ranks, such as Itumeleng Shopane, the Kasi cult hero Olani Blackberry Nala, former Baroka midfielder Ayanda Shabalala, and the sensational Lungelo Dondolo. Former Orlando Pirates striker and Hollywoodbets ambassador Jerry Kosana spoke about the importance of having top-class players at such tournaments and the potential benefits of being spotted by professional scouts for them and other unknown players.
Sometimes somehow players want to go and play where there is a crowd. They want to be seen, and these are the kind of tournaments that they normally come to showcase their skill. But one thing that they need to know, it doesn't end here. They come here just to display. They need to make sure that they capture the eye of the people that are coming here to identify them.
The tournament was exciting from start to finish, and after 40 teams tried their best, it was down to 2. The showpiece match pitted together Mudagasi FC against a mighty Meadowlands Juventus, and the latter were truly up for the fight.
These moments in front of all these fans, yeah? Imagine it from the first whistle, boys. Come on, eh? Please, no motivation needed. This is what this team is built for. So let's take it home, boys, yeah? Vamos, Juve, vamos, vamos, vamos!
2 of the best teams in the tournament went toe-to-toe, and having both won other festive games, the habit of winning was second nature. Meadowlands Juventus looked to get off to a good start with the player of the tournament, the man they call the White Witch, Lungelo Dondolo, turning on the style. But the Juventus defense went to sleep, and who else but the man they call Blackberry to give Mudagasi the lead from close range. Juventus tried their best to get a goal back, throwing the kitchen sink, and Dondolo had a great chance to level matters late on, but he fired over, and that saw Mudagasi hold on to claim the title.
Yasitesliwe ku-final isebe senza sure ukuthi nakanjani kumele siwine plus besijabulisa nabantu balayika Soweto since sibike wina amafilisi kumele sibabonise ukuthi hayi talented sasekhona.
It was very competitive, man. It was very competitive. Besidlala nabantu abalaziyo, abantu abajimayo every day, abantu abaphuma kuma-professional setup. So bekumele si-stepe up. If besingastepanga up, hayi besobe sisebenzela amahala wonke lo December nalo January.
Well, thank you very much to Hollywoodbets for constantly giving to the beautifully South African game, and also, of course, bringing you Game On. So, from myself, Susan Mabena, Shane McGregor, Jerry Kosana, and the rest of the team that is behind the scenes, we do bid you farewell up until next week. Click, click, bang.